How you doing? Oh, you're all right. You're all right. Thank you. Here are 8 things that the Bible taught me on how to become rich. And once I started applying these things, it practically happened overnight. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm a believer, a husband, a father, and a multi-millionaire trader, all at the age of 23. I believe I'm the most blessed person I have ever met, and it hasn't even come close. Because of that, I feel obligated to bestow the teachings that I have learned that have made me get to where I am today. I'm not saying I'm successful by any means, but a lot of people have encouraged me to make this video. For those of you guys who do know me, welcome back. We're in Singapore right now on a networking trip. Right now, we're trying to hunt down liquidity providers to take our order flow. We're starting to trade with too much money, and we're starting to make too much money. And the banks don't like that. So we're trying to figure out how we can continue to expand our algorithmic trading solutions. And we have a whole documentary that we're working on. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. But we're in Singapore right now. Beautiful views. I'm absolutely loving it, but I'm also loving sharing the word of God. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the 8 things that made me a multi-millionaire before I was a millionaire before 20. I've had my fair share of runs. I've had my fair share of losses. I've made $1 million. I've lost $1 million, and then I made it back again. So I kind of feel like I have a proper blueprint on how to handle business, how to handle life, how to handle relationships. And there's 8 key points that I want to talk about today. So not only are we really going to be talking about the Bible, but we're actually going to be talking about one specific book. And that book is Proverbs. Proverbs, if you guys don't know, is the book of wisdom. Every young man should read this book. In fact, one of the wisest and wealthiest men to ever live wrote this book, King Solomon, and it was told that he was writing it to his son. So there's so many practical implications that I see Proverbs helping out my life and my business in. And it goes much deeper than just business. I really think every young man needs to read this book. Young women too. So you know what to look for in a husband. So I have 8 things. And the first thing I want to talk about is in Proverbs 2. So Proverbs 2 says, "My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding. Yes, if you call out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and you search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, in his mouth comes knowledge and understanding." So the first thing is what this is saying is not only valuing wisdom, but valuing what it means to seek out wisdom. When it says, seek for it like silver and search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. So how many of you guys have a mentor? You guys need to have a mentor in just about every area, in your faith, in your finances, fitness, any part of your life that's important to you, your relationships. You need to have mentorship. So the number one thing that I want to first talk about is finding mentorship. And this is not so I can sell some product to you guys, but I have mentors for everything. I've had a personal trainer. I have my spiritual and relationship mentor, Darren. He's an elder at my church, or was an elder at my church. He's raised a fantastic family, very fantastic businessman. But in business, I have a lot of mentors as well. So I think it's really important. If you guys want to be successful, you need to understand mentorship is as valuable as hidden treasure. Crazy. I can make a whole hour video on mentorship and why it's important. And I have hundreds of verses to back it, but I want to get onto other things and make this quicker. So the number 2 thing I got my notepad here is planning and vision. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. I'll reread that. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. That's Proverbs 21:5. So wisdom isn't only about working hard, it's about diligence. in planning. People like to make money and they like to make it quick. That is obvious. That's why a lot of people came to me for trading. That's why I got into trading. However, how many times have you laid out a plan for your life? Now, I do want to emphasize, just because you have a plan in your life doesn't mean that it has to go perfectly according to plan. I plan on doing international business. Did I think I was going to be doing it this quick? No. So God's plan will always overrule our plan and is always better than our plan. I did not think I was going to be married and have children, plural. We're going to have our third kid in March. But now that I'm a father, I realize how important that is. In business, I created a blueprint for all of my businesses to follow. And we followed them as much as we could. Now, God had his hand in my business, clearly, because it wouldn't have succeeded without him and the people that I've met. But the fact that I was diligent in planning, there's a story where there's two farmers, and one of the farmers said, they both prayed to God, God, I need rain for my crops. I really need rain for my crops to grow. And the other farmer said, God, I need rain for my crops to grow. But only one of the farmers prepared for the rain and trusted God. Who do you think received the rain? So I think it's important that you plan for your life, you pray for wisdom in your direction and your planning, but also be susceptible, be open to changing that plan and what God has for you. So in planning in our algorithmic trading fund, I needed to have a month to 2 months before I could start putting live capital to some of our algorithms that we were testing. Without that, we could have lost a lot of money. In fact, yesterday, one of our algorithms lost about $15,000. And that was probably one of the bigger losses that we've had, well, the biggest loss that this algorithm has had. But it's because we've done it in stages. We have planning and preparation. We build the algorithm, we put it towards a small amount of money. After several amount of months, we put it towards a little bit larger amount of money. And then if it continues to do well with larger capital, then that's when we put millions and millions of dollars onto it. So now, because the plan was obviously different, it's time to adjust, and we're no longer going to be using the algorithm. But because of the planning and the diligence I had in my plan, it did save me a lot of money, because that could have been a $150,000 loss. Number 3, humility and teachability. I got to read from my notes because my Bible keeps flipping. There's 11 to... When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. So what this is talking about is humility and teachability. Proverbs reminds us that humility is open for teachability. If you're a millionaire or you're aspiring millionaire, you need to put your pride aside. You need to be able to accept correction. There's a lot of times where I make a decent amount of money. I make a lot of money. And men have given me correction or have corrected me, and I could have easily brushed that off and just honestly not cared about it because, hey, man, up years I have my own money. I don't need your assistance. But I've never been that way. And even guys who people might consider a class below me or whatever that means, being humble and being allowed to receive correction. My father growing up, when he would spank me, he would, after he spanked me, he would sit me down and he would talk to me and he would say, hey, do you know why I spanked you? Basically, how are we going to fix this? And at the end, he would make sure, he said that he loved me. So the point is, he would correct me, but I was open to receiving that correction. And if I did not understand why I was getting spanked, or if I disagreed with why I was getting spanked, I continued to rebel, and I would receive another spanking. So the point is being open to receiving correction, number 1. And number 2, when receiving the correction, how's your attitude? Attitude is very important. And translating that to business, there are books that I've purchased on business, and I fully expected them because these guys have made millions and millions and millions of dollars doing that one specific thing. I expected them for those exact same systems to work for me perfectly. And they didn't. And in fact, they lost me a lot of money. So make sure before you're open to receiving correction, know who you're getting correction from. A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and a quarreling is like the bars of a castle. From the fruit of a man's mouth, his stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. So death and life are in the power of the tongue. So when I hear death and life are in the power of the tongue, it makes you realize that your words carry more weight than you could possibly imagine. In marriage counseling, and I will relate this to business, in marriage counseling, the marriage counselor said, there's three things when you get in an argument, okay? You never raise your voice, you never name call, and you never go to bed angry. Um, and the go to bed angry one, I think sometimes sleep can actually help a lot with situations. There's times where my wife and I have gone to bed kind of angry without resolving the issue. But when we kind of slept on it and woke up, we realized that our love superseded the issue. It was really a minute issue. But I think instead of going to bed angry, you can slot that in for making sure you always resolve the issue. Um, and why that's important is in business, there's so many times I've seen men in business, if there's a conflict, they cut each other off, they say things. Your words cannot be undone. Once said, and they're put into the universe, they are said. Your words carry life and death. So for the death part, make sure you never burn bridges that do not need to be burned. There are times that I absolutely could have burned bridges because I felt like, I didn't need them. I'm good on my own. When I said, you know what? I'm going to do the godly thing. I am not going to burn this bridge. I'm not going to send that text message. I am going to wait and sit on it. And then months later, year later, that relationship came around and it was like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine not having this person in my life for my business. It's happened so many times. So do not burn unnecessary bridges. But number two, your words carry life. We often like to focus on death, but we don't like to focus on life. Life can be sprouting ideas with your friends, sprouting business ideas. There's so many times where you can be with your friends and you could be having perverse conversation, being with businessmen too, especially networking events. I've seen it. You're dogging on your competitors. You're dogging on other men that are probably even at that event when you're bringing kind of death into this world, when you could actually have your words for good, use them for good, and bring life into this world. Ideas is life, in my opinion. Mentorship is life, in my opinion. Words of affirmation is life, in my opinion. Hey, man, you're killing it. I'm really proud of you. It's a great job you're doing. That is life. So making sure you're understanding that your words bring either life or death. You allow yourself. You make the decision on what one you want to have come out of your mouth. Okay. Ooh, 1320. This is probably my favorite one. This one has helped me probably the most in my life. Out of all of them, I would really turn up the volume on this one. Nudge your buddy, hey, focus up. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. I don't need to read any context for that. That seems pretty simple and self-explanatory. So I'll read that one more time. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Your friend group, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. A lot of times the reason why you're not being successful, why you're not rich, why you're not prosperous, and why you're constantly going in the circle of life, stuck in your 9 to 5, you're going to parties on weekends, you're not in Singapore or Dubai with your friends, going on business discussions. I have a pretty big business meeting, probably one of the biggest ones I'll have in a long time, the next hour or two. That didn't come from walking with people who continue to have hatred and strife. It came from either walking by myself and pursuing wisdom or walking with the wise. So you need to check yourself. Check your friend group. Who are you walking through life with? Are they speaking life in this world or are they speaking death? I guarantee you, out of anything in this video, if I can provide a value to help you become a millionaire, it is your friend group. It is the people you hang around. It's not to blame them. It is not their fault. It is your fault for continuing to walk with them. You don't have to burn the bridge. You don't have to cut them off. When I first started becoming successful, I did a mentorship program, a high performance net worth mentorship program I did a mentorship program to make myself become a high performer. I was mentored under a multimillionaire. It was $20,000. And when I was done with that, I wanted all of my friends to be just as successful as I was. Always wanted that. I've always wanted my friends to be successful. So the second I was done with that, I texted my entire friend group and said, hey guys, I did this over the past few months. I will teach you guys everything completely for free that I learned. Just show up to my office on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. EST. I will teach you, if you guys want to put in the work, I will teach you how to be a high performer and be wealthy yourself. Some of them came, maybe one time. Some of them never came. Judged me, thought I was crazy for getting into trading, crazy for dating a woman that was older than me, crazy for graduating a year early out of high school and going right to college to pursue that woman, crazy for starting a business when I was young. Those people are the ones that will unfortunately suffer harm. The ones that stayed with me during that group and the ones that came to me because I was doing that group are the friends I still have today. They wanted to become wise. So either turn your friend group onto wisdom and walk together, or it's time to leave that friend group and start your own. Probably the best piece of advice I can give you, and it's going to be hard. Number 6, Proverbs 10. A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is a sorrow to his mother. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but the Lord does not let the righteous go hungry. There are times in business where I made decisions solely on wanting to make money, and in doing those decisions, I made those decisions based off of wicked ways. I did not make those decisions based off of righteous ways. There was times where there was an affiliate group that was paying me a stupid amount of money. Was the product good? Did I even use it? No, I did not. I did this for several months and I made a lot of money, a ton of money off of this affiliate link, and I didn't even use this product. I was doing it for the money. But as the Bible says, treasures gained by wickedness do not profit. It's kind of ironic that all the money I made, I put in a specific bank account on that one thing. And long story short, I lost every single penny of that. So I ended up promoting this company that I never ended up using for no money because I was doing it through wicked decisions and I wasn't profiting. If you're a trader, think about prop firms. Think about all the prop firms that fail because of the poor business decisions that they decide to make, not paying traders out as they should. That's wicked decision. That's stealing. They will not profit. So if there's a man, I hate to be that guy, but think about Tai Lopez, right? Everyone thought he was killing it, but he just got hit with a $112 million SEC lawsuit. We'll see where that comes. That could be totally false, and I'm praying for him in that. But if he really deceived investors out of $100 million, it will be brought to justice. Think about, I don't know the situation. I have just seen some things surface, but there's a gentleman online called Sam Millsap, and I personally know one of my friends here got scammed out of one of his courses, and I know there's people who he has not paid the bill yet to that he needs to pay, and you're seeing he's selling his Lamborghinis to pay these bills. So I want to be careful because if he's in the right, I don't want to put a lot of hate out there, but you just start to see a lot of people who have been doing business in wicked ways and how it's not profiting. So look at those businesses. Do not be jealous of the success of those businesses, because if they are making money in wicked ways, they will not profit and they eventually will crumble. God won't bless them. My business partner in my fund, he always says, Jay, blessed money will go far. Non-blessed money will not. And this is exactly what he means by this. Blessed money will go far. Have your business work for the good of people. Don't have your business to exploit people. OnlyFans, of course, if you aren't providing any value, prop firms, whatever it may be, don't be in the business of harming people, because it won't end well for you, in my opinion, and according to King Solomon. This will be the last one because I got to get going. We've kind of been out here for a little while, but I've really enjoyed my time here. If you guys have stuck around to the end, thank you. So the last point I want to make is generosity, and I'm not here to preach prosperity gospel because I don't believe in that, but I do believe that there is something to be said about having a tithing and a giving heart, and the Lord will bless those who are givers. Again, that does not mean go to your church and give your church all your money in hopes that the Lord's just going to give you more money. But I think it's important as believers to tithe and to be giving. I like to say I try to be as giving as I possibly can. One who gives freely yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give and only suffers want. Proverbs 11:24. Proverbs isn't about accumulating money. It's about stewardship and generosity. How to be wise, not how to make money. I wanted to save this for the end. This video isn't so you can make millions more money. In Proverbs 8, it says, "Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice of gold, for wisdom is better than jewels." So this book isn't about making money. It's about stewardship and generosity. It's about wisdom and how to gain it, how to receive wisdom, and how to become wise. So I really hope you guys learned something from this. I really love doing this. I would hope if this video gets even 100 likes, I would consider doing a whole series on this because I love to stick around, but I'm in a black t-shirt and I'm sweating and I have a business meeting I have to jump to. Please subscribe if you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That is how to be wealthy according to the Bible. See you next time.